let's dive into it. First and foremost, we have to talk about the Red Sox. The Red Sox are, like I said, starting up tonight. They are officially going to be playing opening day versus the Seattle Mariners, but that has not come without some, I don't want to say controversy because I think that's a little bit too strong, but President and CEO Sam Kennedy, the dude does not know how to keep his mouth shut. And not that he doesn't take interviews, because don't get me wrong, I love him talking because it gives me all the content in the world. I feel like almost every sentence to every other sentence, the dude is saying something that just totally, he is totally out there, has no idea what is going on in Red Sox Nation. And he was on MassLive, Sean McAdam and Chris Cotillo's the Fenway Rundown podcast. And there's a lot that he said, but some of the big things that I want to hit on are a lot that has to do with the narrative, the team, signing guys, and how all that unfolded. So the first thing that Sean McAdam asked him, which was kind of a softball question, if you ask me, because the way he framed it, he had to bring up the fact that, oh, Sam, you live in Brookline. You live a mile down the road from Fenway, or, from the city. You're out and about around town. What are the fans who come up to you, talk to you? What are you hearing from them about the team, that what they've done, what they haven't done? What are the fans saying, basically, is what he asked him. So, of course, you're going to get that. Like, it was kind of a layup, and it was a layup to a degree, because Sam took this opportunity to talk about how, he moved, so now he's closer to Fenway, that he's living in the neighborhood. He is a big Dunkin' Donuts guy. If you guys don't know, Sam Kennedy loves his Dunkin' Donuts multiple times a day, mind you. So if you want to go talk to him, go to Dunkin' Donuts right by Fenway. I bet you'll run into him, and then you can give him everything that you want to give him. But he goes on to talk, Sam Kennedy goes on to talk about the, quote, social media narrative being so negative, end quote. And it's so funny to me, because to him, oh, it's just a social media narrative. That's not the real narrative. No. It's just social media. Everything on social media is so negative. Now, before I get into that, I just want to specify, I love the Red Sox. I always have, always will. And I want them to be good. I want them to be better. When John Henry bought this team initially, he spent money like crazy. Pedro Martinez, great investment. Manny Ramirez, great investment, no matter how that Manny situation ended. It was a great investment. Hell, they almost got A-Rod, right? So John Henry spent money for a long time. And so now that they've refused to spend money, they are trying to frame it in a way that, oh, it's just a social media narrative. Social media is always negative. What can you expect? So, and he goes on to talk about how fans say we're excited about the young players and what has happened during spring training. There's a lot to be optimistic about. He goes on to say further, quote, those are real fans. Those are fans who support us through thick and thin. Well, I got to stop there, because first and foremost, thank you, Sam. Thank you for really letting me and us know what you think of the quote unquote pink hats. That's what I call them. That's why I said quote unquote. But the pink hats are the ones who are just blind faith. They don't care. They're like, yay, Red Sox, woohoo. It's baseball season. I love it. Where they can't pull themselves out, look at the team, and say to themselves, let me be critical here. Let me look at what has gone on in Major League Baseball. What have the Red Sox done? What have they done in the past? And what are they doing currently? And let me put two and two together. No, they don't do that. So to him, those are the real fans. People like you and me, no, we're not real fans. We're the a-holes on social media who just love to be negative, which couldn't be further from the truth. Sam, I would love to sit up here and tell you that I am excited for this season, that I am pumped. I know all the guys. I've seen them play. I watch spring training, blah, 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 the whole nine. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. Because what have you done for me? Nothing. You literally have done nothing. John Henry has directed you to stick under a budget, which keeps going down and down and down, the worse and worse and worse you get. So here I am criticizing ownership for their lack of moves, lack of investment, while the prices of my tickets, your tickets, and everything else that's going on in the ballpark keep going up and up and up. So while their payroll goes down, 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 you're spending more. And yet, here I am supposed to be excited about this young team and excited that, oh, hey, look at us. We're the Red Sox. We're good to go. Yay, look at the Yankees. Oh, they traded for Juan Soto. He's a bum. Baltimore Orioles, they're a young, talented team who got arguably the best starting pitcher in Corbin Burns. They're going to finish in last place, right? Seriously? So that was interesting to me. And as a non-real fan, I am disgusted with this team, with all the resources that you have and refuse to use. And also, I love the fact that he had to throw out there that the woohoo guys are the thick and thin supporters. Listen, I told you, I am a Red Sox fan through and through. I am one of you. I am not like Sam Kennedy, who has worked for the team for 23 years, that still wants to refer to himself as a man of the people, saying that he's a diehard Red Sox fan. I got a family who's a diehard Red Sox fan, or Robert Kraft for that matter, which I'll get into later, who is saying, I got to put on my fan cap now. No, both of you, stop talking like you're fans, okay? Because I have more connection to the fan base than you, because I'm one of you. I am one of you guys, okay, out there. I am one of you. I am not Sam Kennedy. I don't work for the team. I am not Robert Kraft. I don't own the friggin' team. No. So that's why that bothered the living crap out of me, because you're calling everybody who's being critical of you, and rightfully so, not real fans. And so tell me, do you want to be the person who lives with the blinders on, who only can see what's in front of them, just see the Red Sox logo, just see this logo right here, and think to yourself, oh, everything's okay. Yeah, that's all I can see. Yay, look, Fenway Park. I love being at Fenway. And don't get me wrong, I love being at Fenway too. Fenway, I had to go to Fenway every year. It's like a tradition. But I am also smart enough to see what the ownership does with this team, what they can and cannot do, or refuse to do, I should say. Not they can't do. They can do anything they want. And I'll get back into that in just a few moments. But the next thing that Sam Kennedy goes on to say is, or just discuss. I'm not quoting, but just discuss. He goes, the one thing I agree. Oh, I will say this. Sorry, I'm jumping a little ahead of myself right now. I will say, the one thing I agree with Sam on is the fandom, and the interest in the Red Sox is there. He's saying that there is interest in the Red Sox. And Sam, I agree with you. I 100% agree. I want to be there. I want to say I am excited for the dog days of summer. There's a reason why this episode is titled The Dog Days of Spring, because the dog days of summer are the times where there's no other sports going on. It's just baseball. And when the Red Sox suck when they are out of it, when they're last, it's not fun. Then yeah, it's the dog days of summer. July, August, September suck. The last thing I want to watch is a friggin' Red Sox game. The last thing I want to do is go to a Red Sox game when I know what I'm going to expect. That's why the dog days of summer. And that's why I'm calling this episode the dog days of spring, because I have a very strong indication of what I'm going to expect. But I know the interest is there. I want it to be there. I look forward to opening day usually every year. This year, not so much, because the problem is that you and the Fenway Sports Group, from John Henry all the way to LeBron James, which I can't even begin to talk about how much that pisses me off, refuse to invest to make this team worth watching. If you want to come on and tell me we're getting rid of all the veterans, we're trying to build up, we're trying to go young, we're trying to throw in these guys from our farm system, all right. At least you're telling me your honest, brutal truth, the brutal, honest truth that is going to lead me in a direction where I am not expecting you to sign Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, Yoshida Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani. I'm not expecting that, because I know you want to just take your farm system and say, here, jump into the big leagues, get some experience, and let's go. But you didn't do that. You didn't. You lied to my face. You lied to all of Red Sox Nation who's watching this show, and all the others who aren't. Like, I'll be honest. And you told us you were going full throttle. So, speaking of full throttle, Chris Cotillo was asking him about the full throttle approach and how, at what point did you realize like you weren't going to be going full throttle? And so, of course, Sam Kennedy never answers a question. He has to jump around and then make excuses, and that's the thing I hate. I can't stand excuse making, trying to say, oh, well, we're doing this, doing that. No, there's no excuses. What happened? And so Sam starts off and says, we've had a very active and very busy offseason, starting with the GM search in mid-September, which is actually kind of funny that he brought that up as an excuse for for how busy they were. Because in case you forget, they, as a sports group, as Fenway Sports Group, have effed over Theo Epstein, Ben Cherington, Dave Dombrowski, and now Chaim Bloom. They have screwed them over. And so when they were going through the GM search, which they were very busy for, the funny part was they had 10 to 12 people turn them down. Yeah. 10 to 12 people said to them, when offered the head of baseball ops position for the Boston Red Sox, absolutely not. We're not going to be a part of this Ferris wheel or carousel wheel of baseball operations guys. No shot. And I don't blame them. I really don't. And so through that, he obviously goes on to talk about the budget parameters. So the funny part about that is Sportico and Forbes both came out with Sportico came out with the top 5 Major League Baseball franchise values, and Forbes talked about ranking all 32 teams based on their value. Well, that was very interesting to me because, of course, why wouldn't it? Seeing how the Red Sox ranked 3rd for both, behind the Yankees and the Dodgers. Yankees and Sportico were valued at $7.93 billion, the Dodgers at $6.3 billion, and the Red Sox at $5.96 billion. And for Forbes, in terms of the Yankees and Dodgers, their valuations came in at 7.55 billion. Dodgers came in at 5.45, and the Red Sox came in at 4.5 billion, right? So the Red Sox ranked third in current value. They also ranked fourth in revenue at $500 billion, which is total earnings, obviously, before taxes and all that nonsense. And then they ranked eighth in operating income, which I think was around 62 million, something like that. And yet they've only been in the luxury tax once in the last 5 years. And yet they're whining about spending too much money. And we can't spend all this money. We just can't do it. It just amazes me. It absolutely amazes me that we've come this far as an organization, as the Red Sox, to be valued as one of the most valued franchises in baseball, yet to act like you're the Oakland Athletics, like you're the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, or the Rays, excuse me, and the Baltimore Orioles. What a joke. Absolute joke. But Sam Kennedy, in all his glory, continues to say that they have an invested ownership group that has been willing to extend in certain cases. Now, for an organization group that made it a point not too long ago to come out and say publicly that they refuse to sign long-term deals with starting pitchers, well, pitchers, primarily, but in general, with guys who are 30 and older because they equal bad contracts. You telling me you can't afford Jordan Montgomery 1 year, $25 million that he just signed with the Diamondbacks, who, was working out in Boston College, who was just living in the city. His wife is working in the city. Also, Blake Snell going to the Giants, 2 years, I think, 62 million, something like that total. You're telling me you can't do that? Spend a couple dollars over the luxury tax this year to get two starting pitchers, especially after Lucas Giolito got injured? You can't do that? Blake Snell has an opt-out after this season. Jordan Montgomery signed a 1-year deal. It's not that much when you think about it all together. It's kind of a joke. Then Kennedy wants to use the Rafael Devers $331 million extension last season as this ownership group is invested. We want to spend money. We just want to spend it on the right guys. Well, Sam, let me remind you that the Rafael Devers extension was because Red Sox fans bullied John Henry. I will say it once and I will say it again. We bullied John Henry into getting that extension done. There's a great video on Twitter showing Red Sox fans waiting outside Fenway Park during the winter, or right before the Winter Classic between the Bruins and the Penguins, who John Henry owns, Shaka, that pay Devers. There is a story with a Red Sox fan who was holding a sign at the game that said "Pay Devers," and the security confiscated it, and then came out and apologized because the story blew up. People were like, "What the hell?" So for him to say that was a big splash, in that guys like me who are so negative about the team, I'm realistic about the team, but for us we just whistle past Rafael Devers' extension. We don't talk about that because it doesn't fit the narrative. Look, see, they spent $331 million on one player, a 10-year contract, and he says it was a massive, massive commitment to see a homegrown player spend the rest of his career with the Red Sox. And Sam, not once have I said that you haven't spent money on Rafael Devers. No, I always talk about it, but I always bring it up because it actually fits my narrative. It doesn't fit your narrative. It fits my narrative due to the fact that we bullied your ass. You let Bogaerts go. No one liked it. So we made sure that Rafael Devers was going to stay in Boston because he is the only guy on this roster that remains from the 2018 team. Like, it's insane to me. And for you to act so high and mighty, so cocky, to say that guys like me who are negative want to whistle past the Rafael Devers signing. No, I don't. I never have. Not once. Because I know how that deal actually got done. So, like I said, Sam Kennedy is honestly a match made in heaven because every time that dude opens his mouth, it is content glory for me. And because the funniest part about it is like he still goes on. He talks about how they love to have homegrown talent, a homegrown player spend the rest of his career with the Red Sox. And I go, oh, really? A homegrown player spend the rest of his career with the Red Sox? So wait, with this ownership group, how did it go with John Lester? Is he still on the team? Did he retire a Red Sox? How about Xander Bogaerts? No? Ooh, I know. Mookie Betts. The reason why the Red Sox are going to be so good this year is because Mookie Betts is still on the team, right? No. 3 homegrown players you let walk because your boss, John Henry, is a cheap scumbag. If I said it once, I'll say it again. John Henry is a cheap SOB who doesn't care. He couldn't care less about the players. If anything, he just wants to be the devil. He wants to be the Rays, and be the team that spends $50 million, but yet gets to the American League pennant, right? Which, sorry, that's not how baseball works, pal. And then the last quote I do want to bring up because, like I said, content glory for me. Sam Kennedy, every time the dude opens his mouth, it's fantastic. But the one thing that he said, which I couldn't believe these words came out of his mouth, were, quote, "It's been a difficult 2 seasons. We do not see ourselves as a team that is content with finishing in last place." Now, for those of you that follow me on social media here on Instagram at Boston Sports Summit, on X at Boss Sports Summit, YouTube Boss Sports Summit, and then obviously the show is going to be on the Grid Network every single Wednesday. I know it's Thursday, but this is an off week. Every single Wednesday, 7 p.m., live on the Grid Network. But for those of you that follow me, and if you don't, I suggest you do, go like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about this. Please, for the algorithm's sake, please like the show. I talked about this because when I saw this, it absolutely blew my mind. Now, I know that we finished in last the last 2 seasons. We finished in last in 2020, but again, 2020 was that weird year. Still finished last, though. And I couldn't really remember because if you talk to me about the 2010s, all I can remember is 2013, Marathon, winning the World Series, then kind of fast forward to, I think, 2015, 2016, where, we made the playoffs, but we lose. And then obviously 2018, having the best team in baseball, winning it all, beating the Dodgers. And then obviously 2019 is like a blur. No one remembers that, obviously, because of COVID the next year. Well, this really opened my eyes, and I saw this on X, and I talked about it on my Instagram. The Red Sox are tied with the Baltimore Orioles for most last place finishes since 2010. And here I am thinking to myself, We have 4 World Series titles in the new millennium. We're not that bad of an organization, right? Oh, wait. You're telling me we have more last place finishes than the A's, than the Blue Jays, than the Rays, than the Reds, the Marlins, and the Orioles? We're tied with them? How insane is that? Here I'm looking at those organizations as perennial losers, because that's what they are. They're perennial losing organizations. The Orioles, they look like they're going to, come in first this year in the AL East. But overall, to me, my lifetime, it's been a perennial loser organization. I love going to Camden Yards. Beautiful ballpark. But they suck. And that's fine, because Baltimore fans, they don't really care about baseball. A lot of those cities don't care. It's nice when the team does well. But when they suck, they're like, yeah, okay, another year, whatever. It's no big deal to them. But we're the Red Sox. I just said we are top 3 in baseball most valued organizations, according to Forbes and Sportico. And yet, this is what we get. 6, what could be, probably will be, a 7th last place finish since 2010. Hell, if you want to go off the Red Sox, since 2012. 2010 and 2011, both years we didn't make the playoffs, but we finished 3rd. Starting in 2012 was our first last place year. So basically, in 12 years or 11 years, in 11 years, the Red Sox have finished in last place in the AL East 6 times, more than any other organization in baseball outside of Baltimore. Now we are the perennial losers who like to throw in a couple World Series here and there. Like, can you take a step back as a Red Sox fan? When we won that first World Series in 2004, breaking the curse of the Bambino, breaking Babe Ruth, getting traded to the Yankees, having that whole fiasco go on. Did you think this is how this was going to go? I didn't. I sure as hell didn't. Because this is absolutely insane to me. And for all the other fan bases out there that say, well, you've won, 4 World Series. Yeah, well, you know what? It's kind of a what have you done for me lately? But it's not, because look at what they've done for us lately. Meanwhile, you sprinkle in 2 World Series in there. But again, for Sam Kennedy to go on and say that you're not content with finishing in last place, that your goal is to win championships. Well, Sam, explain this to me. Explain that chart that says you are tied with Baltimore for more last place finishes in baseball, basically. It is an absolute joke. And I am sick and disgusted. I can't actually even believe that it's opening day, because I feel like this is one of those opening days that no one really knew about. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait, it's opening day today? Oh, okay, I guess baseball is on. But now, come to find out, like, due to all the streaming services and everything, like having certain deals, like MLB has a deal with this one, they don't have one with that one. It's like no one can watch baseball now. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Like, I love baseball. I love the Red Sox. That's why I'm so critical. I am critical of the Red Sox because I want them to be good. You don't have to go and win a World Series for me. But at least, again, for the 1 millionth time, FSG, John Henry, Sam Kennedy, show me that you want to invest in this team. Don't keep raising my prices to then lower yours. because obviously I'm not going to fall for that. And I know people will, and I don't blame them. I wish they wouldn't go. I think that would be hilarious. Is that all of a sudden you go to Fenway Park, the game starts at 7:05, it's 7:15, and all of a sudden, all of like there is not a soul in Fenway. Do like it was with COVID. That would be phenomenal to just have a game, middle of a game playing, and there is not a soul in Fenway outside of the players and the staff. That would be great. Really stick it to the Red Sox and John Henry. But obviously, I know that's not going to happen due to the out-of-town fans and, some Red Sox pink hatters, who are like, whatever. Hey, I get to go to Fenway. Sure, fine. I'm not upset by that because I'm not going to sit there and, blame you for wanting to go to Fenway for, if your kids want to go and you want to take them, fine, go be my guest. Not gonna berate you for that. It just sucks that it seems like John Henry and FSG has us over the barrel, and outside of calling, sports media, reaching out, going on Twitter, bitching and complaining, there's really nothing that we can do outside of having no one go to a game. It's hard. It's hard like that because I want this team to be good. I really do. I really do. Like you're probably sitting there going, all the, for lack of a better word, bitching and complaining I've done. You're probably sitting there going, how can you sit there and be a fan? Because that's what I am. I am a fan of this team. I love the Red Sox. Always have, always will. And I want them to be good. But I also want the ownership to show me that they want to invest. Because if I'm going to pay the highest ticket price in all of Major League Baseball, then damn, I better be getting a good product out of it. And I'm not saying that they have to win. They have to go 162-0. No, of course not. But don't lie to me. Don't go down that path because this is the type of situation they themselves put themselves in. All right? Because everything that I tell you, going full throttle, all the Sam Kennedy quotes, Tom Warner, like these guys have said it with their own mouths and then tried to retract it weeks or months later because it's like, oh, crap. Like, we said this and now we have to figure out a way to circumvent that so that way the fans aren't yelling at us. Where, again, as Red Sox fans and Boston sports fans in particular, guess what? I know you and I know me. We're not stupid. When we hear you say key words, certain phrases, we know exactly what that's going to produce. And then when you don't do it, this is the type of belief storm you get. I mean, it's absolutely insane to me that this is where we are. This is where we are as Red Sox fans, where we are for opening day 2024. It sucks. It's going to be a long season, folks. And the one thing that this question has been posed to me a lot, right, is what are your thoughts on the team? And my thoughts of the team are, again, it's not going to be good. I don't think this team is strong enough. We're definitely not deep enough to make it, I think, a full 162. I think we're going to come to a point where injuries are going to start piling up. I think what happened to Lucas Giolito was a freak accident. I mean, the guy has no history of injuries. And then, of course, he gets injured. And it's not bad where he doesn't need Tommy John. But they definitely have that elbow. They're going in to check out his elbow. And so I'm worried. I truly am worried. And we had all the starter depth right there, ready to be had out on the free agent market, and they refuse to do that. They refuse to. So I know that Brian Bale is going tonight, which I think is great. And I'm trying to look up their starting lineup because I know they just announced it not too long ago. But yeah, so the starting lineup, you have Jarren Duran at 1, Rafael Devers. Jarren Duran's going to be in left field. Rafael Devers is going to be at third base, batting 2. Trevor Story's batting 3 at shortstop. Tristan Casas batting 4th at first. Tyler O'Neill batting 5th at right. Matsutaka Yoshida DHing, batting 6th. Sedan Rafaela batting 7th in center. Emmanuel Valdez batting 8th at second, and then Connor Wong catching, batting 9th. And I mean, I need to see what Jarren Duran, Tristan Casas, and Trevor Story, for that matter, can do, because Jarren Duran and Tristan Casas have had their ups and downs. Jarren Duran was on pace to lead the league in doubles because the dude has wheels. Like, when he goes, he goes. And I love it. It's great. It can definitely throw defenses off, especially when he hits like a bloop single that he can stretch into a double. And Casas has shown that he's got quite a bit of power. Problem is, these guys need to put it together for a full season. Duran's been hurt. Casas is streaky. And then Trevor Story, outside of Coors Field in Colorado, is a career 237 hitter. And of course, last season, was mostly a no-go. But for that, I'm like, 237 outside of a ballpark that's a mile high, where the ball flies further and all that stuff. Like, I mean, this roster doesn't excite me. And I am excited for the young guns. I'm not going to – I shouldn't go so far as say it doesn't excite me, because it does. Brian Bale, I want to see what this kid can do. Jarren Duran, Casas excite me. Rafaela, he excites me. He looks like a good center fielder. I hope that the dude can hit, but I have no freaking clue. And so the Red Sox are just this weird predicament, man. It's tough. It's tough being a Sox fan. And not for the reasons that, we're not going to win a World Series this year. No. It's just that, the Red Sox have invested practically nothing in this team and expect me to, yay, Red Sox, it's time. It's Major League it's opening day. Like, let's go. Like, how can I get up and excited for that lineup? How can I get up and excited knowing Shohei Ohtani, Yoshida, or Yamamoto, Montgomery, Snell were on the market to be had, especially later on. They got them for cheap. And this is what I get? This is the product that I get? Oh, it just sucks.